A city divided, the shadow of the wall, the Berlin Wall, a scar on the face of a city, a symbol of Cold War division. It was more than just a wall, it was a physical and ideological barrier. It stood for 28 years, separating families, friends, and ideologies. The wall was a daily reminder of the political and social rift that had torn the city apart. To understand its fall, we must remember its rise. The wall's construction was a pivotal moment in history, marking the height of Cold War tensions. After World War II, Germany was divided. The country was split into 4 occupation zones controlled by the United States, the United Kingdom, France, and the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union controlled the East, the Allies the West. This division was not just geographical, but also ideological, with the East adopting communism and the West embracing democracy. Berlin, though in the East, was also split. The city itself became a microcosm of the larger global conflict, a focal point of Cold War tensions. In 1961, the wall was erected practically overnight. Barbed wire and concrete blocks quickly turned into a formidable barrier, a desperate attempt to stem the flow of East Germans fleeing to the West. Thousands had already escaped, seeking freedom and opportunity in the West. It became a physical manifestation of the Iron Curtain, a concrete barrier between two worlds. The wall was fortified with guard towers, anti-vehicle trenches, and a no-man's land known as the Death Strip. Life in the shadow of the wall was starkly different on either side. The wall not only divided the city, but also created 2 distinct worlds. The West enjoyed freedom and prosperity, while the East lived under strict communist rule. The contrast was evident in the bustling streets of West Berlin, filled with shops and cafes, compared to the austere and controlled environment of East Berlin. Cracks in the concrete, the beginning of the end. By the late 1980s, the Soviet Union was crumbling. Economic stagnation and political unrest were rife. In 1989, a wave of revolutions swept across Eastern Europe. Meanwhile, in Berlin, pressure was mounting. Thousands gathered at the wall, demanding change. The eyes of the world were watching. On November 9, 1989, amidst confusion and elation, the unthinkable happened. East German officials announced the opening of the border. The Berlin Wall, once impenetrable, was breached. Thousands surged through the newly opened checkpoints, tears of joy mixing with disbelief. A night of jubilation, witnessing history unfold. It was a moment that would be etched in the annals of history forever. The fall of the Berlin Wall was a night of pure euphoria. Strangers embraced, tears streamed down faces, and the collective joy was palpable. It was a night where barriers, both physical and ideological, crumbled. The air crackled with the thrill of liberation. Fireworks lit up the sky, symbolizing the dawn of a new era. The cheers of the crowd echoed through the night, a testament to the human spirit's resilience. For those in the West, it was a victory for freedom and democracy. The fall of the wall was not just a physical event. It was a powerful symbol of the triumph of democratic ideals over oppressive regimes. The symbolic dismantling of the wall represented the triumph of the West over communism. Each piece of the wall that was chipped away was a blow to the Iron Curtain that had divided Europe for decades. But amidst the celebrations, a sense of apprehension lingered. The joy was tempered with uncertainty. What would the future hold for a reunified Germany? The questions were as numerous as the people gathered at the wall. What would become of Germany? The city of Berlin, once a symbol of division, now stood at the crossroads of history. The path ahead was uncharted, filled with both hope and challenges. What about the future of Europe? The fall of the wall had implications far beyond Germany. It signaled a shift in the geopolitical landscape of Europe, raising questions about the future of the continent. The world held its breath, watching as history unfolded before their eyes. News broadcasts captured the global reactions as people from all corners of the world tuned in to witness this monumental event.
The fall of the Berlin Wall was a night of pure euphoria. Strangers embraced, tears streamed down faces, and the collective joy was palpable. It was a night where barriers, both physical and ideological, crumbled. The air crackled with the thrill of liberation. Fireworks lit up the sky, symbolizing the dawn of a new era. The cheers of the crowd echoed through the night, a testament to the human spirit's resilience. For those in the West, it was a victory for freedom and democracy. The fall of the wall was not just a physical event, it was a powerful symbol of the triumph of democratic ideals over oppressive regimes. The symbolic dismantling of the wall represented the triumph of the West over communism. Each piece of the wall that was chipped away was a blow to the Iron Curtain that had divided Europe for decades. But amidst the celebrations, a sense of apprehension lingered. The joy was tempered with uncertainty. What would the future hold for a reunified Germany? The questions were as numerous as the people gathered at the wall. What would become of Germany? The city of Berlin, once a symbol of division, now stood at the crossroads of history. The path ahead was uncharted, filled with both hope and challenges. What about the future of Europe? The fall of the wall had implications far beyond Germany. It signaled a shift in the geopolitical landscape of Europe, raising questions about the future of the continent. The world held its breath, watching as history unfolded before their eyes. News broadcasts captured the global reactions as people from all corners of the world tuned in to witness this monumental event.
Two sides of freedom, voices from the divide. The fall of the wall meant different things to different people. For those trapped in the East, it was a release from oppression, a chance to finally taste freedom.
"I never thought I'd see this day," a tearful woman exclaimed, reunited with her family after decades of separation.
But for some in the East, it brought uncertainty and fear. The familiar world they knew was gone, replaced by an unfamiliar capitalist system.
"We were told it was a workers' paradise," a former East German worker lamented. But the truth was far different.
Section 5. Rebuilding a Nation, the immediate aftermath. The fall of the Berlin Wall triggered a period of rapid change. East and West Germany reunited after 45 years, but the process was not without its challenges. Integrating two vastly different economic and social systems proved difficult. The former East lagged behind, struggling with unemployment and social upheaval. The euphoria of reunification was tempered by the realities of rebuilding a nation divided for so long. Scars of the past ran deep, and healing would take time. Yet, amidst the challenges, there was also hope. A new generation, unburdened by the weight of the past, emerged, eager to shape a united Germany. Section 6. The fall heard around the world. Global political shifts. The fall of the Berlin Wall had seismic geopolitical consequences. It marked the symbolic end of the Cold War, signaling the collapse of communism in Eastern Europe.
The Soviet Union, weakened and demoralized, dissolved just 2 years later.
The United States emerged as the sole superpower, ushering in a new world order. But the post-Cold War world was not without its own complexities.
The fall of the Berlin Wall created a power vacuum, leading to ethnic conflicts and regional instability. The world watched, both hopeful and apprehensive, as the geopolitical landscape shifted beneath its feet.
Section 7. Cultural collisions and new identities. The fall of the wall triggered a cultural earthquake. East and West German cultures, long separated, now collided, creating both friction and fusion. Western music, fashion, and ideas flooded the East, while Eastern traditions and experiences offered a new perspective to the West. A new generation, raised in a unified Germany, forged its own identity, blending the influences of East and West. The fall of the wall became a catalyst for cultural exchange and transformation, not just in Germany but across the globe. Section 8. A legacy of hope, a future uncertain. The fall of the Berlin Wall stands as a testament to the power of human spirit, a reminder that even the most formidable barriers can crumble in the face of hope and determination. It taught us that freedom is precious, that division is unsustainable, and that dialogue and understanding are essential for a peaceful world. Yet, as we celebrate the triumph of freedom, we must also acknowledge the complexities and challenges that followed. The fall of the Berlin Wall was not an end, but a beginning. A new chapter in history filled with both promise and uncertainty. Section 9. The Wall in Our Minds. Reflections on a Divided Past. 35 years on, the legacy of the Berlin Wall continues to shape our world. It stands as a powerful symbol of the Cold War era, a time when the world was divided not just by physical barriers, but by ideologies and political tensions. It serves as a stark reminder of the dangers of division, the fragility of peace, and the cost of separation. Families were torn apart, lives were disrupted, and a city was split in two, and the enduring human desire for freedom. The fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989 was not just a physical event, but a profound moment of liberation and hope for millions.
Although the physical wall is gone, its shadow lingers. Walls of prejudice, intolerance, and fear still divide communities and nations. These invisible barriers can be just as damaging as the concrete and barbed wire that once stood in Berlin. And fear still divide communities and nations. We see these walls in the form of racial discrimination, religious intolerance, and political polarization.
As we navigate an increasingly polarized world, it is crucial to remember the lessons of the Berlin Wall. It teaches us the importance of dialogue, understanding, and the need to bridge our differences. The lessons of the Berlin Wall remain as relevant as ever. The celebrations of its fall remind us of the power of unity and the human spirit's resilience. We must strive to tear down the walls that divide us, whether they be physical or ideological. It is a continuous effort that requires commitment and compassion, whether they be physical or ideological. By fostering inclusivity and mutual respect, we can create a world where walls are no longer needed.
For as long as walls exist in our hearts and in our minds, the spirit of the Berlin Wall lives on. It challenges us to reflect on our own prejudices and to work towards a more united future. The spirit of the Berlin Wall lives on, a challenge to build bridges of understanding and create a world without walls. It is a call to action for each of us to contribute to a more inclusive and harmonious society, a challenge to build bridges of understanding and create a world without walls. Let us honor the legacy of the Berlin Wall by striving for a future where unity and peace prevail.